Hello everyone, welcome to the Hylian Gamescast Zelda Mailbag. We have a question from the Patreon supporter, the Manboy Cave. Says, do you guys think the sequel to Breath of the Wild should get a whole new title or just be called Breath of the Wild 2? I can't decide what's better. There are pros and cons to both.
Nope, get a new title. Don't call it Breath of the Wild 2. That's boring.
Okay.
that's me. That's boring.
Okay.
Breath of the Wild is that's such a unique name that's perfect for that game.
Yeah.
The sequel to Breath of the Wild, which we are tentatively calling Breath of the Wild 2 until they announce it, is clearly going to have a very different focus. You look at the first trailer for Breath of the Wild, and it's all like, look how much open space there is here.
Mm-hmm.
Breathe in the wild.
Breathe it. Yeah, breathe it in. There's so much grass. Okay, you can cut so much grass here. You won't get any rupees, but there's lots of grass to cut. Look, there's mountains there. It's open. This is the Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
And you're like, great, sounds good. This game, first trailer comes out, it's like, death! You're in a dark cave. and it's... That's what they gave us. A dark cave with a corpse that comes to life and malice spilling everywhere. That does not that vibe I get there is not. I don't look at that and go like Breath of the Wild.
Instead of that piano tune that you hear in the first Breath of the Wild trailer, when we get the official trailer for the sequel, it's just going to be like a death metal song. Instead of like the tiny little piano tune that's like all lighthearted and like 3 seconds between each note. It's just going to be really fast.
It's going to be a different beast. But I genuinely think it's going to be a different beast, and it's gonna they got to call it something else. We already had Zelda 2. People are going to start calling it Zelda 2, Breath of the Wild 2. It's going to be terrible. Let's just give it a new name that's perfect for that game. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Sorry for hijacking this. So
I just hope they don't overdo it and call it The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 blah blah blah. Like they give it another
like
subtext.
The new
subtitle?
Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah.
New Super Breath of the Wild 2
Games
Deluxe.
have done that before though. Where it's like they've given it 2 subtitles before.
Oh dear. What is this? Dragon Quest? There's so many subtitles.
Let's just make it Breath of the Rehydrated Ganon.
Oh no. Just X super chatted $2. Answer my question in Discord.
I found his question. I can do this.
Oh, okay.
Good. All right.
His question for the mailbag from Just X, who has just donated us $2 for this.
Mailbag.
If you can choose one cutscene from any Zelda game and stamp it as your favorite, what would it be and why? And I already have my answer for this, because every time this cutscene happens, I can't help but start rocking out. Ocarina of Time, when you go talk to Big Goron Man and you start dancing and you play your song for him on the ocarina. Yeah, Darunia.
Saria's song?
Yeah, that is my favorite scene ever.
That's great. That's a good one.
There's literally there have been lots of emotions and a lot of really cool things that have happened in Legend of Zelda, but nothing will ever beat the way that man just starts dancing, and the way that the camera angles start changing, and the fire in his face, and the heat. Okay, I'm done.
The heat.
Yeah, hot.
He says that. He says that. Yeah.
Yeah, like it might be because like he has the door to a volcano right behind him, or it could just be the song.
It could be the song. There's also like a torch on either side of him.
Yeah.
There's literal fire. Ooh, this is a hard question, Justin. But like, I think if you asked me a year ago, my answer probably would have been one of the really emotional cutscenes of Skyward Sword, or maybe even one of the memories of Breath of the Wild. But they were all trumped very recently by, in the Link's Awakening remake, the ending cutscene is just... I don't want to spoil it in case people haven't played the game, because it's literally the end of the game. But the art, the emotions, the music, just everything, it's perfect. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It made me, like, I finished the game for the first time and I was sitting on my couch. It made me feel so many things, and I loved it. I loved it to bits. So I think if I had to choose one, that might be the one to trump them all. That might be the winner. It's just it's it's so good. It's just it's not quite as memeable as Choose answer, but it's just a genuinely good. It's like a good piece of art, you know. It's just. Jesse, what about you? What about you, Jesse?
On the bridge after the dungeon in the desert, I think, when 𝐓𝐿𝐷 and young Sheik are like fighting each other.
Impa.
Yeah, I said young Sheik. The young Sheikah Impa, yeah. Fight.
Yes.
And like Link gets there just in time, and she's just like, why are you always like 2 minutes late? Yeah.
I think 𝐓𝐷 just yeets in through the wall, just bursts in. He's like, I'm here!
Yeah.
Oh,
and I don't know, like it's weird. Like she tells him to like just to like stop trying or whatever, but then it's like like do you just like
she
stop?
also literally would have died if he didn't show up, so
Right?
Yeah.
She was so mean in that cutscene. I actually like super recently beat that one on stream for everyone, and I like legitimately almost started crying like in like the last cutscene where there were all of the goodbyes, and I was just like,
oh, it's a
emotion.
It is. There's some good ones in the chat here. Marsupial Gamer John says ending of A Link Between Worlds was amazing. It's a good cutscene as well. Gus Last says Zelda crying cutscene and Last Memory. Breath of the Wild, I'm assuming. Those are both super good as well. The Last Memory and Breath of the Wild, I watched it like 4 times in a row when I first unlocked it. I just kept going and rewatching it. It's good. It's good. And Justin, JustX, donates $2 again. For your awesome answers, thank you. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Also, we got another super chat. Gus Laz, 790. DS games you want ported to the Switch. One. Let's choose one each. Jesse.
Legend of Starfy.
I choose Jesse. No.
DS games. Super
DS
Mario
game.
64 DS.
What? Really? That's okay. Actually, because I mentioned it already, I've been replaying it. Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon on the DS is an oft overlooked, super
I only
good.
picked my answer because I thought you were going to say one of the Zelda games because you're literally
thinking
playing
about
them right now. That's why
No,
I
I just
picked
finished it.
Mario.
Oh, duh, Jesse's gonna pick a Zelda game. Come on.
Now you make me look
I
like
just
the
I
jerk.
just intentionally didn't pick because everyone will hate me.
And we'll always pick a Zelda game. Duh. 3DS remake. Done.
Okay, now, I think we all just assume Zelda was obviously going to. But aside from Zelda, Fire Emblem is the one I'm going with because I have replayed that game more than any other DS game I own. It's so good and there's so much replay value and it's so brutal.
But
It's really
hear me
challenging.
out. Hear me out.
But yes,
Super
hearing you
Mario
out.
64 DS.
I guess that's the version you can play as Yoshi's. I do
Or-
love Yoshi.
Like Wario.
Can you play as
Don't
like
say
Wario or Waluigi
Don't,
in
no,
that one
don't
as
say
well?
it. I don't want. I don't care about that.
And I think it's multiplayer.
Just love Yoshi. Yeah, it's multiplayer because what you do is you get one person uses this side and one person uses this side.
It's classic one-player, two-player strats. I do that all the time. Where the nunchuck and the other person gets the Wiimote. Absolute chaos.
Perfect. The original version of that was one person used the arrow keys, the other person used WASD, and crowds one keyboard.
So
Yep.
did you see originally there's been a mod made. The game originally had it was designed so that you could play multiplayer in Super Mario 64, which Daniel, you and I we talked about it in an interview once, because they didn't know exactly how powerful the Nintendo 64 was. That's why
Right.
the original Mario game takes place entirely just in the castle, and then you have to jump through the paintings. The original Zelda game, you were literally just gonna do the same thing.
They were like,
To where-
let's do it again.
Yeah, to where it was like, it was just gonna be a Ganon's castle, and then like you just go through the separate areas, and then that's why some of it was left over, where like Ganondorf can like travel through the paintings and the forest temple, or Phantom Ganon can. It was literally going to be just like Mario. But then they were like, hey, we can actually do more with this. So they did more. And people found the original code in Super Mario 64 and made it multiplayer. And then that was what, I think it was the same people, our friends, who made Ocarina of Time multiplayer. But Ocarina of Time didn't have the code in there to make it multiplayer, so they had to like actually do it themselves. But it had the code in it to where like if you got further apart from someone, then it would like do the split screen thing.
Oh, it would split screen. Okay.
Yeah, and but if it didn't, then it would just zoom out. But it already had that like built into the game. And I think I was watching a video recently about the original Luigi's Mansion had the same multiplayer feature.
Neat.
So
side note.
Yes.
We have another super chat. Key of Time 15, $2 says thoughts on Zelda MMORPG and how it would work. I think we've talked about this previously.
We have, and I think the conclusion is that basically you'd have different like classes that you could play as. Like you could be like a Hylian, or you could be like
Gordon. His name's Gordon. His name's Gordon. He's a and you get to choose all these different races, and
you wouldn't be able to play as Link, but you'd be able to make a Hylian and dress him like Link.
Sure.
I'm thinking there'd probably be like special events that happen where they might spawn like weapons or items that you've seen through other games. Yeah. Maybe you can get mounts as well. I don't know what kind of mounts you would get. Maybe one of the mounts you can unlock is Sidon.
Oh my!
Can you imagine?
Oh my! But they could do some very unique ideas with the MMO, because they've certainly built the world and to fit that, right? So it's and I mean basically you've got like all of the recipe for like a classic RPG, a JRPG like party that you could incorporate, you know. So, but yes, I definitely leave Link out of the. You're not Link. If you're doing a Zelda MMO, Link's off limits. So is Zelda.
Yeah, I feel like you'd probably play a little bit like, I'd say like maybe like Elder Scrolls Online, where it's got like really, really, really good graphics.
Oh no, it's that bad, huh?
Yeah, Elder Scrolls Online wasn't a very good game to start with, so maybe we'll go like, was it Final Fantasy 15? That was an online MMO. That one was okay.
14.
42.
But I remember everyone in Final Fantasy Online, they were like super angry and easily tilted and very competitive and didn't like newbies, so. But that's basically every online community in a nutshell.
What about RuneScape?
No one plays it.
Anyways.
No.
Wouldn't wish that upon my worst enemy.
The problem with if they made a Zelda MMORPG is that I already put so many hours into Zelda. I can't do more.
Gosh. All of us out there with over 1,000 hours of Breath of the Wild, like, well, time to do this all over again, times 10.
Yeah. Yep. So the way to get past Link is have it in an era like they talk about in Wind Waker, in the backstory when like Ganondorf came back, but no one was there to stop him. It could be an era to where like Link failed or something.
Wars. There's like a bunch of wars in the timeline between games.
Yeah.
You can just choose any one of those.
That doesn't have a Link there. So it's like...
The Imprisoning War in the Downfall timeline.
Never heard of it.
Link... Okay.
No,
for the unacquainted, Link dies in Ocarina of Time. Downfall timeline happens. There's what's called the Imprisoning War, which leads into the backstory of A Link to the Past. So you've got this whole war that's just mentioned vaguely. There you go. You put an MMO there and just never end it. You're like, this is a long ass war, man. This is just a big long war.
You could play as a Rito and just like hover above everyone, so you're never attacked.
No sense. they shouldn't be there, but they are. And
You could do a Deku scrub, so like you just hide underground and everyone just like attacks above you, and then you can just pop out every now and then.
yeah. Being a Rito, I feel like would be so OP though. If you maybe they should take it off the table. Just they're like, this is too.
Well, I mean, it depends. If they include a combat triangle, it wouldn't be too OP.
Yes, true. Like if while you're flying, you're extremely vulnerable to being shot by a bow or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like
And yeah,
if flying took magic or whatever. Like when the Deku flies, or like when a Goron spins with the spikes.
or like when the Rito, when Medley and Wind Waker flies.
Yeah.
She has a meter. You could do exactly that. That would be good.
Because it's like they can fly, they just weigh like 200 pounds, and their wings are kind of small for their body.
The only time you can fly unlimited is if you have no.
You
cut
might
out.
have when you said that.
Yeah, you cut out.
It's limited, but you can fly unlimited if you have no items equipped because you're not weighed down.
Oh yeah.
Dumb.
Yeah. No.
I love this. People would go bankrupt buying Zelda skins.
It's so
so
true. It's so true.
All right. So pick out the last two questions, guys.
Okay. Two more questions. Ooh.
I saw one that I like immediately.
I see you highlighting it on it.
Yes, I'm
Okay.
going. This is the
Do
one
it.
I'm asking.
Do it.
Okay, so Serena the Trap today asks, do you think we'll get Super Mario Odyssey 2 or Super Mario Galaxy 3?